Aloha folks, we're back again, and in this episode what we're going to do is we're going to continue the discussion on sound. This is a bonus episode. In the last episode I said we were going to talk about lighting. That's coming up in the next episode, but there was one thing I remembered I failed to talk about, and we need to talk about it in this episode, and that's the microphone on your camera. Every camera has a built-in microphone. Every phone has a built-in microphone. Okay, we talked about the phones, but what about the camera? Is that thing any good for filmmaking? At first thought, I think a lot of people will say, no, those microphones are terrible. And you know, 10 years ago, they're probably absolutely right. Now, as you get up into the more expensive cameras, of course, they have usually they have a port that you can plug in an external microphone. And if you got a camera like that, I would always recommend that you go that route. Yeah, you got to buy the microphone, but it's just the better way to go. But if you have a lower end camera, the built-in microphone, it's there. How can it be used? Right now on this camera, and this is a lowly point and shoot camera, I've already measured it. I am 4.5 feet away from the camera, and therefore 4.5 feet away from the microphone. Let me give you the setup here. We're inside, we're at night, there's traffic outside. We have a fan going about 8 feet away from the camera, so that's kind of producing some noise. How good is this microphone to pick up the voice and use in a film context? Now, that fan is adding unnecessary noise, which means we have no choice but to edit that out in audio editing. So we're going to do some of that today, and I'm going to show you how it goes. All right, so here we go, 4.5 feet. How does it sound? Okay, so now I've just readjusted this camera. Let's do a little measuring here. Okay, this is 3.5 feet. The first test was at 4.5 feet. Now we're at 3.5 feet. Everything else is the same. How are we picking up, and how much are we going to have to clean up after this test here? Now, I think there's one thing I hope is obvious to everyone. If you're going to use the camera, if you're going to use the microphone that is built into the camera, this is always going to be an inside scenario, always. You're never going to take this camera outside and try and use it that way. The microphone on the camera is going to pick up the wind like that, and there's no way to get that out. So let's just, be honest. The only way it can be used is in a controlled environment, and that means inside. Okay, so now we are 30 inches away from the camera. I don't think that you're going to be able to get too much closer than this. Well, maybe we'll try, but I think if I get too much closer, you're going to see a nose talking. That's about all you're going to see. But how is the sound picking up here at about 2.5 feet? Okay, this is 2 feet right here. And this is definitely as close as you're going to get. I think the top of my head is chopped off, but don't worry about that. You can always get the camera focused as best you can when you're bringing this in. The point here is at 2 feet 24 inches, how is the sound picking up? In a controlled environment, meaning inside, and you got it quiet, actually the sound should be very usable. We just need to clean it up a little bit with some audio editing. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to try and fix up the clips, the audio clips that we ran. Now, in the last clip that we did, remember it was only at 24 inches from my face. The camera is 24 inches and therefore the microphone is 24 inches. And I'm going to ask you to just trust me that once you clean that up, it's going to be good. 24 inches, there's not going to be a problem. I think the question was more that first clip. How far away were we on that first clip? 4.5 feet. What kind of audio quality is that going to be like? Let's take a listen to that right now. Well, aloha folks, we're back again, and in this episode what we're going to do is we're going to continue the discussion. Okay, we had to cut there because, as you could tell, it's way too soft. So I had to bump up the volume, and here's what happened. On sound, this is a bonus episode. In the last episode I said we were going to talk about lighting. That's coming up in the next episode, but there was one thing I remembered I failed to talk about, and we need to talk about it in this episode, and that's the microphone on your camera. Every camera has a built-in microphone. Every phone has a built-in microphone. Okay, we talked about the phones, but what about the camera? Is that thing any good for filmmaking? Yeah, that really doesn't sound too good. I think you can hear the fan in the background. You can hear all kinds of noise. It's not a good quality recording at all. So this definitely needs some attention. And what we're going to do is we're going to put it through the audio editing that everybody needs to work with if they're going to be a filmmaker. In my case, I use a product called Audacity, and I've talked about this before. Here's a look at the process on the computer of what you have to do to take out the noise. This is called noise reduction, and I'm going to do it on Audacity. Now, the one part I'm not going to show you is the downloading of this, and well, we'll do about this. I'm assuming that you know how to do that. You know how to download a package. We'll go over that later. Right now, I just want to show you the process. Here we go.
You know she's never gonna tell you if she likes it this way. You know she's never gonna ask you if you feel the same. The fever, and addiction, was it worth it? Did you give your life away? The fever, a desperate religion, and all that she can say is give it just a little bit. Give it just a little bit. Give it just a little bit. Give it just a little bit.
Okay, well, I hope that was clear enough to just the procedure that you have to go through. You have to execute Audacity. You have to import the audio clip. Once you import it, you're going to find a space that doesn't have any voice. There's no dialogue going on. It's supposed to be a quiet spot on the clip, and you're going to take a small snippet of that, and that's going to be your sampling. Your sampling of what should be the quiet time on that audio clip. And then you're going to go to the noise reduction. You're going to tab that as the sample, and then you select the entire clip, and you're going to do the noise reduction, because what it's going to do is going to take the sample that you just designated, and it's going to take all that noise right out of the entire clip. So all the background noise, poof, it's gone. All right, let's listen to that first clip again, the one that was 4.5 feet away. I've done the audio editing, I've done the noise reduction. Let's have a listen. Well, aloha folks, we're back again, and in this episode what we're going to do is we're going to continue the discussion on sound. This is a bonus episode. In the last episode I said we were going to talk about lighting. That's coming up in the next episode, but there was one thing I remembered I failed to talk about, and we need to talk about it in this episode, and that's the microphone on your camera. Every camera has a built-in microphone. Every phone has a built-in microphone. Okay, we talked about the phones, but what about the camera? Is that thing any good for filmmaking? Okay, that wasn't bad. It really wasn't bad. I thought that the beginning of that clip was pretty darn good, and I thought the end was actually pretty clear too. But in the middle, I could hear some tinniness or some echo that was going on. I'm not really sure why that happened, but if the question is, can you use this segment in your film? I would say no. I don't think it's good enough. It's not bad. I'm not saying it's a bad clip, but I don't think it's good enough. Okay, so we had a couple problems there, didn't we? Number one, the camera and the microphone, therefore being 4.5 feet away, too far. We don't get the volume that we need. So even cleaning it up doesn't really give us the volume that's going to make it a quality audio clip. Well, that's easily solved, isn't it? What are you going to do? You're going to bring that camera up closer. It can't be 4.5 feet away. It's going to have to be closer. So let's take a listen to the 30-inch reach from the camera, therefore the microphone, to my face. Now that wasn't the last clip that we did. That was 24 inches. So it's the one before that at 30 inches, which is, that's a fair distance from the camera to your actor's face. I've already done the audio editing on this one, okay? Just pretend that we went through the process and it's already edited. Let's have a listen to this clip that was 30 inches away. Here we go. Okay, so now we are 30 inches away from the camera. I don't think that you're going to be able to get too much closer than this. Well, maybe we'll try, but I think if I get too much closer, you're going to see a nose talking. That's about all you're going to see. But how is the sound picking up here at about 2.5 feet? Folks, that was a good one. That was a good take. That is a good audio. You can definitely put that in your film. And so, I hope that we've learned what the parameters are for using the microphone on you. Cannot use it outside. It is strictly inside. It has to be in a controlled environment. How far away can your camera be? Well, can't be 4 to 4.5 feet away. That's too far. Now understand, the camera that I'm using is a low-end camera. I did that on purpose. And I wanted to use a low-end camera because, the microphone is not going to be the best. And I just wanted to see how good can we make this microphone work for us. Well, at 30 inches, works great. Maybe 36 inches would be okay too. Beyond that, I don't know. Folks, until the next time, which should be lighting, that's going to be the next episode. We'll see you then. Aloha.